How's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard? Oh, okay. So if somebody, hypothetically took a couple of nibbles backstage and, got excited, should they go to the hospital or should they?
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds has spent years ruling the Hollywood roost as the lovable goofball, a guy so quick-witted and charming that you'd swear he wakes up each morning with punchlines at the ready.
And you, decent guy?
No. Terrible human being.
He cracks jokes in interviews, posts hilarious updates on social media, and generally acts like that popular class clown we all used to envy. But according to certain insiders who've witnessed his off-camera moments, Ryan's polished halo may not gleam as brightly when the director yells, "Cut!" Some say they've seen him morph into someone far less cuddly, and if their stories hold any truth, you might walk away from this video seeing Ryan in a totally different light. There was a time when Ryan Reynolds could do no wrong. He'd float onto late-night shows, riff about his wife and kids, and leave audiences roaring in the aisles. We ate it up. His comedic timing was so spot on, it could have its own zip code. Plus, who doesn't love a guy who manages to poke fun at himself while starring in blockbuster hits? But behind that mile-wide grin, rumors started trickling out, hinting that Ryan the comic genius might also be Ryan the Overbearing Diva. At first, these whispers seemed more like jealous chatter. Maybe someone had a bad day, or maybe they were overshadowed by Ryan's quick wit. But over the years, the chatter grew louder and more consistent. A surprising number of folks claimed there's a hidden sharp edge to him. And once you start piecing these accounts together, it's hard not to wonder if the wisecracking good guy might be a pro at covering up something darker. Hollywood always has its awkward star meets star tales, right? Well, one doozy features Jersey Shore personalities Sammy Giancola and Dina Cortese. They appeared on Watch What Happens Live, where host Andy Cohen asked if they'd ever bumped into a famously rude celeb. At first, Sammy tried to stay diplomatic, saying, "We encountered someone less than friendly," without naming names. But Dina, bless her heart, just let the truth spill. It was Ryan Reynolds. The pair said they tried to greet him, and he acted like they were invisible. Talk about an icy reception. Even so, both Sammy and Dina insisted they still loved Ryan. And his wife Blake Lively too. They chalked it up to him possibly having a bad day, but the fact they paused before dropping his name says a lot. Perhaps they weren't too keen on criticizing a big Hollywood fish, because let's be real, one slip and you might end up blacklisted in Tinseltown faster than you can say, "Gym, tan, laundry." Plenty of celebrities keep quiet about negative on-set experiences, especially when the troublemaker is a powerful figure. Rebecca Ferguson is a prime example. While promoting one of her projects, she revealed a co-star who was top billed and apparently top brat made her life miserable on set. The nasty verbal smackdowns left Rebecca feeling shaky and powerless. She never flat out said who it was, but the timeline and her filmography led internet sleuths to suspect Ryan Reynolds from the sci-fi flick Life. Rebecca recalled a day she finally snapped, refused to back down, and threatened to perform her scenes facing a tennis ball rather than her co-star's face. Imagine wanting to replace a real person with a tennis ball. Ouch. Friends warned Rebecca she might spark an industry meltdown if she revealed any names. Yet she remained adamant that if someone's decent, they have nothing to hide. So was she. Pointing at Ryan Reynolds, the comedic megastar? That question lingers, especially because she promoted Life solo with her leading men conspicuously absent. Connect the dots, folks. Another Life cast member, Jake Gyllenhaal, was once so buddy-buddy with Ryan that the two practically needed their own bromantic rom-com. They joked around in interviews, teased each other, and seemed like besties. Until one day, they stopped. Jake hinted there'd been a time they were close, but that time was apparently over. When reporters asked Jake if he had any parting words for Ryan, he seemed about as eager as a cat heading to a bath. He simply had nothing to say. And his polite smile looked suspiciously forced. While fans are still scratching their heads, it's hard not to think something major went down. Whether it was a disagreement, a giant ego clash, or Ryan cracking one joke too many, nobody's sure. But one thing is clear, Jake Gyllenhaal isn't flipping through his contacts to send Ryan a holiday card anytime soon. Deadpool fans likely recall how essential Morena Baccarin's character was to the first film. Her on-screen chemistry with Ryan was electric, and viewers were all in on her role. But in the sequel, she was barely there. And at the big events, she often stood alone, looking like she missed the group memo on photo ops. So what happened? Rumor has it, an on-set disagreement, with Ryan resulted in her being sidelined. While details remain murky, insiders claim Ryan cut her out of key interviews and promotional appearances after some dispute, possibly about her lines or comedic bits. Rather than hashing it out, Ryan allegedly employed the "you're cancelled" strategy. Looking at the before and after pictures of cast gatherings, you see Ryan in group hugs with the rest of the team, and Morena off to one side. The atmosphere basically screamed, "There's tension here, folks." When it comes to Hollywood politics, the biggest star often holds the biggest power. Then there's TJ Miller, the actor-comedian who played Weasel in Deadpool. At first, TJ and Ryan appeared to vibe just fine, two comedic minds building a hilarious buddy flick. But after a certain incident, TJ's tune changed faster than you can say chimichanga. According to TJ, Ryan, while in character, treated him to a not-so-friendly roast, calling him out as merely that guy who's here to rattle off a few funny lines and move on. It stung, especially since TJ genuinely thought they were friends. TJ insisted Ryan's insults weren't playful teasing, but genuine attempts to remind TJ he was a sidekick, not a star. That's enough to sour any professional relationship. TJ declared he'd never work with Ryan again. So if you were hoping for a comedic duo spin-off, don't hold your breath. Once again, the dreaded insecure label cropped up, with TJ implying Ryan was basically flexing his status at TJ's expense. If you think co-star tensions are messy, wait till you hear about director Tim Miller's departure from Deadpool 2. After guiding the original to huge success, Tim abruptly backed out of the sequel. His reason? Creative differences, specifically differences with Ryan. According to Tim, Ryan wanted almost total control, leaving little room for the director's own vision. Tim, feeling creatively handcuffed, decided to bow out. It's not every day you see a director walk away from a guaranteed blockbuster, so fans took notice. For Tim, there was no point engaging in a constant tug-of-war for every comedic beat or storyline detail. Ryan Reynolds, face of the franchise, held the power. And if Tim couldn't steer the ship as a director, why stay? It was a giant neon sign that Ryan's comedic style might not be so laid back when he's the one calling the shots. Ryan's rumored controlling streak apparently doesn't stop at the studio gates. His history of relationships includes a few famous exes who've hinted at jealousy or simmering power struggles. Scarlett Johansson, married to Ryan from 2008 to 2011, opened up about disliking controlling behavior and passive-aggressive jealousy. Although she never lobbed the accusations at him directly by name, fans did the math. She was referring to a past marriage in which her career was blasting off faster than a rocket, while her spouse's star power was flickering by comparison. Go back further, and you'll find Ryan's engagement to singer Alanis Morissette. After their split, Alanis poured her heartbreak into an album riddled with references to insecurity. She never outright said, "This is about Ryan," but the timeline fit too perfectly for most fans to ignore. And the specifics, fear of rejection, controlling impulses, and envy, told a tale that suspiciously resembled the Ryan we're hearing about from other corners. Now, if this were just about scorned exes or random co-stars, maybe you'd shrug it off, but Ryan has ruffled feathers with some big names behind the camera too. Take Quentin Tarantino, famed for blazing guns and witty scripts, who delivered a thinly veiled jab at Netflix's spree of shelling out enormous paychecks to actors like Ryan Reynolds. Tarantino joked he had no clue what those pricey Ryan Reynolds movies even were, implying they float through the cultural ether without leaving much of a footprint. That stings more than a sharp paper cut to the ego. Director Chris Columbus, known for Home Alone, got legitimately upset when Ryan pitched a reboot titled Stoned Alone, an R-rated version of his beloved family classic. Chris wasn't having it. He called it an insult to the art of cinema and basically told Ryan to watch the original or scram. Meanwhile, actor Gerard Butler flat out dismissed any similarities between his own Flick Gamer and Ryan's Free Guy, claiming he hadn't even bothered to see Ryan's film. Ouch, Ryan Reynolds has soared to the top on the strength of his witty comebacks and that goofy, almost too perfect grin. He's the king of social media wisecracks, and audiences love a star who can crack us up and look effortlessly cool doing it. But behind that comedic shield, there's a chorus of colleagues, friends turned enemies, ex-lovers, and industry power players all hinting that funny Ryan might have a bit of a mean streak. From the Jersey Shore cast that found him cold, to co-stars like Rebecca Ferguson who refused to even face him in scenes, to directors and comedic partners who abandoned big paychecks just to escape his control, there's a trail of folks who've run up against Ryan's alleged sour side. And if you listen to Scarlett or Alanis, the same controlling vibe possibly extends into his romantic life too. On the surface, Ryan still flaunts that irreverent humor and loving husband vibe, always in on the joke, always ready with a wink. Yet you have to wonder, how many more people have to tiptoe around his rumored insecurities before the facade starts to crack? Is Ryan Reynolds' squeaky clean public image about to crumble like a stale cookie, or will his comedic brilliance keep finessing fans into giving him the benefit of the doubt? We might not get all the answers until more insiders speak up, or until Ryan addresses the buzz. But for now, he's the center of swirling allegations, manipulative behavior, big-time jealousy, overblown ego, and a penchant for controlling nearly every aspect of his work. Celebs are known for carefully curating their images, but some cracks are too big to plaster over. If you're a fan, maybe you can laugh along with his next wisecrack and push these rumors aside. Or maybe you're now reading between the lines, questioning if that laugh is hiding something else. Time will tell if Ryan's sweet, snarky persona can weather the storm of these claims, or if the real Ryan Reynolds stands on the brink of being fully exposed. Either way, Hollywood loves a good plot twist, and this drama is far from over. Will the once unstoppable comedic force keep the crowd cheering, or is the curtain set to fall on his nice guy act? Let us know your take, because sometimes the stories that start as half-serious gossip end up being the biggest shockers of all.